Hey guys, I want to welcome you to the beta testing of this new wealth conditioner application that I developed. This has been a kind of a passion project of mine for a long time, and I developed like the first version of it a couple years ago. But I decided to really, put a lot into it this time and go all out with it. And I'm really, really excited to have you joining me for these next 30 days as we kind of take place in a little experiment together. Um, I'm really, really excited about this application because I think, those people that use it like full on and really engage with it are going to find that it's going to work um, permanent financial miracles in your lives. And I believe that with my whole heart and soul. I've applied a lot of the principles that make up how this application works in my own life, and I've had amazing results personally, um, both in like just my income, the kind of job I have, the benefits I've received at the company I'm with, in all other like different ways, like the ideas that come in my head constantly, and it's really, really exciting. And I think um, if you really devote yourself to these 30 days and kind of following the rules, I'm thrilled and I'm so excited to see the effects that it's going to have in your life, for the good for you. So, what is this designed to do? I've talked to most of you guys kind of at length about this, but just to sum up, in all these different areas of our lives, we have identities towards a particular thing, right? Like we have this identity of who we are as maybe a father or a mother, who we are as a friend, what kind of job we're supposed to have, how much money is too much, if we are a spontaneous person or a more reserved person, or we go by the books, or, it's just we have these kind of standards that we live by. And some of them we learned, and some of them we've just kind of always been that way. But regardless, we have standards. And a really good analogy is thinking of it like a thermostat system in your house. You might program it at 72 degrees. And then if you were to, like I'm here in Georgia, so if you were to open up all the windows on a hot summer day, the temperature in the house is going to increase because of these external forces. Well, the system being programmed at 72 is always listening for what is the temperature around me. It's going to notice a deviation eventually, and what's going to happen is it's going to kick on all the cool air to make sure that the temperature in the house that it's programmed at is what it's experiencing as a system. So our lives and our standards and our identities are very, really similar to that. So the idea is, if you're a person, like let's stick with the money example. If you're a person who believes that, hey, I'm this person, I make this sort of income, this is the sort of lifestyle I have, this is how it is. And if you win the lottery, well, for just about everyone, winning the lottery is a huge curse, because what happens is we are not ready for that kind of windfall. It's like my house is programmed at 72 degrees, and all of a sudden it's 4,893 degrees around me. So at first we're like, okay, this is great, I can buy this car or this house or whatever, but like we're not mentally there yet, ready for handling that kind of money, and not just like the administrative piece that comes with it, but like also the emotional side of it, dealing with family and friends, right, that come out of the woodwork demanding a lot of us, and all these businesses and charities that like demand things of you, and it's just we're not ready for it, so we subconsciously sabotage, right? It's our internal thermostat system trying to regulate our external circumstances, are the way we're experiencing our life. It's doing everything it can to get us back to that equilibrium. So this app was designed to take that programmed temperature that we have internally about money, and it's going to slowly increase. It's going to slowly get it going higher up. Now, your circumstances most likely aren't going to change, too drastically, I'd imagine. I mean, they could, but they're probably not going to change too drastically over the next, week or two. Again, they could, but this system is designed to force one of those deviations to happen by raising your internal belief system and your standards that you have about money. And eventually what's going to happen is your brain is going to notice, like, oh my God, like what I'm actually experiencing in my life, right? Maybe the income I have or the kind of job or the sort of lifestyle I lead is not consistent with what I'm becoming accustomed to. So this is like the inverse of like the thermostat system and that high temperature. We're going to be raising our temperatures inside, and it's going to feel cold in the house. So what we want to do is kick on the heat to raise our experiences. So I think what you'll find is, coincidental things may happen. Like you'll meet somebody that can help you. An idea will pop into your head that could be really lucrative. Maybe promotions at your job. It's going to seem crazy. I don't know what'll happen for you, but things will change because this is how our subconscious mind works. It's always serving us, working hard to make sure that the circumstances that we're experiencing around us are consistent with these identities that we hold in the deep recesses of our subconscious, and our deep identities and belief systems. So what you're going to do with this app, and you're going to have instructions in an email, but the idea is you're going to set up an account. You're going to go to the Wealth Conditioner site. You're going to log in, and you're going to see it's going to look like a bank account, and you're going to have $1,000 balance, right? It's not real, but the idea is to play the part in your head. Imagine if it's real, and try to make it as real as you can. And really think, if you had $1,000 extra, what would you do with it? And there's no judgments. There's no right or wrong way to use it. You can buy clothes with it. You can buy that. Like for me, it was this Inferno infrared broiler system that like I just really love. I love high quality steaks. But like I was like, I can't right now. Maybe I might not be able to justify dropping $600 on something like that. Well, if I had $1,000 extra, maybe I would. So I might buy that. $400 left over. I can pay off debts. So there's a feature that will allow you to add actual debt amounts that you have, and you can throw money towards that, and it's going to decrease the debt balance that you have. Or you can save it, or you can invest it. So there's kind of like a stock market simulator on there that's kind of always like randomly going up or down certain percentage points, and so that balance is going to continue to grow. And as you go along, the idea is just to keep spending that money as it comes into your account. So every day you're going to find a special little surprise for you. And so what I encourage you to do is really think again, what you would actually do with that money. And it's a really fun exercise, but I think what you're going to find is doing this over and over and really taking on the mentality and using your imagination to feel like, wow, this is actually, I have this money, okay, what am I going to do? You're going to find that your beliefs are going to start changing. You might see like your income, like a check that comes in, it might sting a little bit. It just doesn't feel like it's high enough. That's okay. That's not wrong, right? What that's showing you is that like your standards are changing. And so when you consistently do this for 30 days, you're going to find that you're going to build in a habit, and your life is going to take some unbelievable turns that I think are going to be very, very exciting for you. So how do you be effective with this? So there's 3 fundamental kind of elements you need to make sure you keep in mind as you're using this. So again, really use your imagination. Our minds are incapable of telling the difference between an experience that is real or an experience that is imagined. Like they've done studies for Olympic athletes that have, they hook them up to machines and they test their vitals and their brain activities as they are running their actual event. So maybe it's a sprint or a marathon or something like that. Then they would take those same athletes, hook them up to the same machines that's measuring brain activity, and even how like their breathing and their heart rate and all those sorts of things. And they've had them run their event in their mind. And it's it's the same thing. Like they can't tell the difference, you know. So it's really amazing. So the first step is make sure when you're doing this, do whatever you need to imagine for these 10 minutes or 15 minutes that you're trying to spend this money. Think, how am I, like, what would I actually buy with this? What do I want to do? And then whenever you purchase something or you move money into savings or you invest it, right, try to assume the feeling of like, what would it feel like if I could say that I actually put a down payment on that Corvette that I wanted, or that I was able to pay off this particular debt or like a student loan. Like, what would that make you feel like? And imagine like you just digitally did it, and like celebrate it in your mind, right? So that's the second part, a sense of expectancy, right? It's you know, and if you find yourself having a hard time of like assuming the feeling like in advance, a great way to think of it is like, imagine you were a 12-year-old kid and an adult friend of yours, or maybe your parent or an uncle, someone who's trustworthy that had the means to do this, said to you, you know, you're such a great kid. You know, when you're 16, I'm going to buy you this new Mustang convertible or something like that. And you know, they had no reason to ever lie to you. Well, if that happened, you know, and I think if you're honest with yourself, you would find you would feel excited in that moment as a 12-year-old. You're not going to be like, okay, thanks. And then when you're 16, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know, you're going to feel that in those exact first moments. And so what I want you to do, what I would encourage, is try to grasp those same kinds of emotions and feelings whenever you're making these transactions. And then the third important, you know, key to this being effective is repetition. So what I'd encourage you to do, and really make sure you make it a priority just for these next 30 days, to do this every day. And so what you're also going to find, and this is a good thing, by the way, what you're going to find is down the road, you're going to be getting like, you know, $10,000 plus per day. And you might have already like bought everything you could think of it up to this point that you might want. But it's like, now I have more money coming in. But this is where the magic happens, right? This is where you're going to start expanding your worldview. You're going to start expanding how you look at things. You might start asking yourself, well, okay, I have 17 grand to use right now. What kind of a vacation could I take? So what I want you to do is not just be like, okay, 17,000 for a dream vacation. No, go through and figure out, where would you stay? You know, what kind of suites would you stay in? And like, look online for them. Find the prices, find maybe an image associated with the place you want to stay, and add that to it. You know, maybe it's a Disney vacation. So like, go through, like, what would it cost to have like the nicest suites with the nicest plans? And if you have money left over, ask yourself, well, who would I bring with me? How would we travel there? You know, really have fun with it. You may even also find it's like, well, you can't get it all done in a 10-minute session, right? Maybe that if you start it in the morning. So what you'll see, if you have all this money left over, is your brain's gonna start thinking like at a subconscious level, okay, what else could I do with this money? And so your focus is shifting to a sense of abundance and like expectancy of like all this money coming in. What do I do with it, and how do I be smart with it? It's really amazing how it works. I'm really excited for you. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. In your email, you're going to have a link to the website. So go ahead and log on with an email address and your and a password that you create, or go ahead and sign in. And I'm going to be sending an email to you guys, or not an email, but I'm going to be sending you a survey once a week. And what I invite you to do is be incredibly candid and honest in those surveys, because what I'm hoping to see and what I'm hoping for you is that you're going to start expanding how you look at things, and you're going to start having new identities when it comes to wealth and finances, and start expecting more for yourself because you're worth it. You know, all you who have received this, I love very much and are very important to me, and I count on your honesty, and I'm just excited to build this for you, because I really think it's going to serve you and add value in ways that you probably can't even imagine yet. So thank you again for participating in this. You guys mean more to me than you know. Have a great time, and I look forward to hearing how it has enhanced your lives. Thank you so much.